Are your builds looking basic while everyone else is creating masterpieces? The problem is not your creativity, it's your roofing technique. I'm going to show you 15 advanced roofing styles that will completely transform your builds. Grab a cuppa, open The Sims 4, and let's turn your basic builds into showstoppers. Roofing in The Sims can feel daunting. It's often one of the most challenging skills to master. If you're thinking, Muir, I don't know anything about how to place roofs in The Sims 4, don't worry. I've got a beginner's tutorial on roofing linked down in the description. Feel free to check it out and return when you're ready. Our first technique is a gable roof with a dormer. And here's why this simple trick will instantly upgrade any build. Most new builders create square boxes with a simple gable roof like this. This is exactly what makes builds look one-dimensional and boring. See this? Instant depth and character. Here's the step-by-step. To make the dormer, just take the side of your roof here and using the room tool, create a simple box, like so. You can make it go in or out. It can be overhanging the roof if you want. It can be super small like this, or it could go just to the edge of the roof like so. Seriously, up to you how you want to do it. If you want to make it super long dormer like this, or a couple of short dormers like this, completely up to you. Now you've got two options, and I'm going to show you which one works better. Grab a gable roof, put it on your dormer, and then pull it across like this. We lower the roof, it looks quite a bit better. The second way is use the half gable roof, twist it around, lower it almost all the way down, and then pull the eaves into the main roof like this. Again, match up the side there so that the roof covers the entire top of the dormer, and there you go. Cute dormer with perfect depth. Remember this technique because in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you how to make this dormer actually functional for gameplay. Because right now you notice that this is not gonna work. These are pretty much purely decorative. So you don't need complicated builds to look professional. Just by adding a simple chimney to the roof like this, you've got an adorable little cottage. It really is that simple. As I said before, these dormers here are decorative, but if you connect them like this, you can easily add some stairs or a ladder for easy access. Simply get rid of the walls here, make sure that changing things around didn't mess things up. There we go. Add your stairs in. And here you go. So with the walls all the way down, you can use this dormer space, but it's not ideal because the roof really gets in the way here. Now stick around until near the end of this video because I'm going to show you an advanced dormer technique that makes these dormers much easier to play in. So next we're going to do some bump outs. This is the secret weapon that separates amateur builds from professional looking homes. These are literally just small sections that bump out from your main structure. Kind of like this. Very simple, right? Now here's the game changer. You can roof these two ways. The first method is to use a gabled roof that matches your existing roof orientation, but smaller, simple, and effective. If you have multiple bump outs on one side, another thing that you can do is to grab a half gabled roof, push it all the way down, and then pull it all the way across. And this makes it look more like a natural extension. If you want even more control, you can use Shift-C for your complete roof curve control and shape the roof however you want. So maybe you want this roof here to have an interesting curve to it like this. You can totally do that. So just these quick fixes and look at this transformation. Already so much better, right? Now that you've seen these techniques, here's how to get maximum value from this video. Now I'm showing you each roof type step by step. If you're looking for something specific, then check the chapters in the description and you can jump around. But if you want to master roofing in general, watch the entire video and feel free to build along with me. You're going to learn tons of different styles for your own builds by doing it this way. Let's take a look at a hipped roof. Hipped roofs are super common in the UK, especially on older semi-detached homes. So for a square house like this, it's simple. Take your hipped roof, pull it all the way across, and maybe lower it down a bit. Possibly pull the eaves out as well. And it's done. For dormers and bump outs, used more hipped pieces. Again, you might need to pull in the roofs to get them to match properly. Don't forget the alt placement on the rooftops to make them seamlessly match just that little bit better. Said you can use a half gabled roof here, maybe on the side, and there you have it. What if you have a more L-shaped house with covered porches? So what I mean by an L-shaped house is something that looks a bit like this. And let's say that you want a covered porch here on the side. Now, this is where most builders get stuck. So here's the secret. Start with the main house section, ignore the bump out temporarily, roof the largest rectangular area first, then add roof pieces to everything that bumps out using the previous tips. Just like so. Let's say you want a porch here, so let's get a flat square. Roofing here will be kind of tricky. Now you could take a roof piece, let's say a half gabled roof, and attach it to the main body like this, and then pull it out and adjust, kind of like this. So while that's completely doable, there is a better way. Click the platform, and do you see this yellow line here? If you click on it, you'll see this thing that says build ceiling. Click on that, and it builds a ceiling for the porch. Then simply take your roof piece, put it on the ceiling, and pull it across so that it matches up the roof perfectly. There you go. Makes roofing quite a bit easier to do. Here's a pro secret. You can use unlimited roof pieces on your builds. Basically, you cover the main section here with this one big piece, and then you can add smaller pieces to add a little bit of personality. If you want to see something that instantly makes builds look more expensive, then what you want to do is intersect your different roof pieces at 90-degree angles. For example, instead of having matching gabled roofs everywhere, replace it with the half gabled roof and rotate them so that this bit here intersects with the main roof like this. This adds perfect connection and way more depth. Now, you can still use full gabled pieces on some bump outs. Let's say, for example, if we go back to how it was before here with the roof, and we do this again, so adding the full gable here that goes along to make that L shape, then putting the half gable to cover the roof, and then we could add another half gable here in front, and another gable roof here on this side. Doing it this way definitely makes these certain areas stand out just that little bit more. I know I said that these roof pieces here are perfectly connected, but you've probably noticed a weird bit of overhanging here on the side of this house. This isn't ideal, so let's go over a few tricks to take care of little issues like this. Now, don't get me wrong, this is perfectly fine and you don't actually need to fix it. This overhang makes absolutely no difference in actual gameplay, but personally, I find it annoying in my own builds because I am a little bit of a perfectionist. If you feel the same, here's what you can do. So you can hold shift and drag this side in, and you'll see that there's less of an intersection here. Now, I still don't really like how this part of the roof tucks in, and there is a little bit of a gap here now that I really don't like. If I drag it out again to get rid of the overhang, there's an even bigger gap. What I like to do is hold shift, and drag out the eaves on this side, and then drag the eaves in on the edge here. And as you can see, this looks a lot better. It's a more smooth connection. You don't have this overhang here between the two roof pieces. Now, roofs in The Sims are not perfect by any means, so you're gonna have to play around and try different things until you get it looking to as close as you want it to look. Now, another thing that you can do is pull this roof until there's no overhang here. If we go back to how the roof was to begin with eaves on the edge here. Like I said, you just pull the roof right until it touches this gabled roof. Then you copy this roof piece and place it right next to the first roof. So you're left with two roof pieces that overhang a bit. Now you'll notice that this gives us the overhang again, which we don't want. But if we click this copied roof piece here, then hold Shift and drag the eaves in, it all perfectly aligns and we don't have any overhang now. And we still get the eaves on this side, which match the overhang on the gabled roof here. The same goes for any other weird overhang or intersection that you don't like. Just play around using multiple roof pieces and manipulating them until you get something that you're happier with. Just remember, when it comes to roofing in The Sims 4, there's only so much that you can do. Before we move on, I need to show you something that will completely change how you think about porches. So when I was little, I lived in a house that had a partial wraparound porch. And it looked kind of like this. Sitting on the porch and watching fireflies at night was pure magic. And that's the feeling that we're going to recreate in this build right now. So here's the thing about wraparound porches. They look intimidating. I'm gonna break down the exact step-by-step process that makes them foolproof. And trust me, once you see how simple this is, you're gonna be adding them to every farmhouse build. Now, you're gonna need multiple roof pieces. Don't worry, I will show you exactly which ones. I'm gonna add a second floor to this build just because it gives us that classic American farmhouse vibe. Here's the secret most builders miss. I'm gonna pull this out here so that we now have a bump out where the porch ends. Now, this isn't just decoration. It's structural genius. See, when porches wrap around like this, ending them in a wall creates visual stability. If we put a chimney on this side, that balances the composition so that none of the walls look flat or boring. We're gonna roof this bump out separately from the porch itself. Now, this creates cohesiveness and hides the porch roof end. So if we grab a half gabled roof and pull it to the corner like this, similar to that. And then for this bump out, like I said, we're gonna roof that separately. So I wanna take a full gable roof. And remember that trick that I showed you earlier to get less of an overhang? There we go. So then we wanna take this roof, we copy it, and we place it on the other side. Notice that both porch sides are the same width. They're both 2 tiles wide because there is a strategy here. So the same width means the same slope, which means that these roof pieces will connect almost perfectly in this tricky corner here. If we hold Shift and drag in the edges or the eaves on these corners here, like so, and now grabbed a hipped roof for this space here, lower it completely, and then drag out the eaves until they match with the other pieces. Now, you may need to move things around a little bit, and you want this seam here to match with the corner of your house. So move things around until you get it absolutely perfect, or at least as perfect as you can get it. Then finally add some roof trim to make it look continuous. If you need to, you can use the Shift C trick to get the roof's absolutely perfect as far as curvature is concerned. Then add your columns for support, fencing, and spandrels to complete the look. And finally, raise up the foundation and add some stairs so that your Sims can access. And there you have it. You have just built a wraparound porch that would make any Southern grandmother proud. Okay, this next technique is gonna blow your mind because it's so simple yet so effective. So if we take this house here and we put a hipped roof over the top, if we cover the main section with your hipped roof, drag out these eaves to kill that flat look. Now here's where most people mess up. They copy this first roof for the side piece, like this. And while it works, it's not ideal. If we instead take this half-hipped roof, and do you see this flat side here? This gives you the same effect as using the full hipped roof, but with a little bit less dragging. It won't stick out awkwardly like the full hipped roof might do. So match the eaves here to the main roof and you're done. Now this style works in tons of architectural contexts and you've just mastered it in under a minute. We'll do the same thing real quick across the other bump outs just by copying, rotating, and shrinking the roof piece to fit. And there you have it. A really simple but effective, fully hipped roof house. Now, speaking of quick wins, I'm going to show you a barn-style roof that is about to become your new favorite style. So let's build your barn, grab your gabled roof, and then drag it out to cover everything. Then grab the bolts on the roof and round it out. And there's your barn roof. Don't stop there though. Remember the Shift-C trick? Shift-C on your keyboard gives you more of these spheres. And now you can move the roof a little bit better to give your barn roof any shape that you want. But what if you have a 2-story barn? Different game entirely, but we can still do it. Start with your ground floor, and you want to make it a little bit wide. The wider, the better. Then you want your top floor to be 3 tiles narrower than the floor below. And there is a reason for this. So we're going to use 3 separate roof pieces instead of 1. Why? Because one roof would make this top floor completely unplayable, as I'll show here. So if we grab our gable roof, put it all the way across, and then drop the walls, yeah, we cannot use this upper level at all. But if we take this gabled roof, we place it on the top level, pull it in to cover the entire top level like so. Then we take half the gabled roofs on either side and we line it up until it's perfectly matching the roof on the top. Drag all the way to the back on both sides. Then play with the curvature of the roof, again to make sure that it all matches perfectly. And now the entire top floor is completely playable. You can see all the way to the back, and you can see what you're doing a lot better. Flat roofs in Sims 4 looks terrible by default, but we're gonna fix that problem forever. First method, create small half walls around the edge of your build, just like this. This gives instant depth and allows you to change the roof trim, by which I mean the wall trim, and it gives you a clear distinction between the build and the roof. Some people don't like this lip though, so here's method number 2, platforms. This is a complete game changer. You can have different heights, more depth, and you can paint the sides with platform trims, like so. Do you want to use wallpaper instead so that you have more of a choice? Here's the workaround that no one talks about. Just like we put half walls around the roof originally, we can put half walls around the platforms. Just find the half wall that perfectly matches the height of the platform, put it all the way around, and then apply whatever wallpaper that you want. Skylights are ridiculously easy once you know this trick. Simply arrange your platforms so that you have a blank square between two of your platforms, kind of like this. Then grab a glass floor tile. I would suggest Island Living or City Living. They have great ones. So if we go to decorations, here we go. The Island Living Crystal Clear is a great one to use. And simply grab it and place it on the roof, just like so. And then if we go down into the build itself, look at that lighting effect right there. How gorgeous is that? And of course, because it's a lighting effect, the spotlight there from the sun will of course move according to the different time of day. How many of you watched The Brady Bunch? Now, I am totally dating myself here, but this next style is pure 70s nostalgia. And all you need is 2 half-gabled roofs. Put one going in one direction, and the other one facing it, both flat sides facing each other. Sounds weird, but it looks amazing. Make one side slightly taller than the other, and you're done. And it can be either side, as you see here. Sometimes the simplest techniques create the most distinctive looks. This next style is perfect for Mount Komorebi builds, and it's more approachable than you think. Simply put a hipped roof covering the entire build, lower it until it's completely flat, drag out the eaves, then put a second hipped roof in the middle and drag it out to form a square. And the magic happens when you adjust this base slope. You want to make sure that the beams here, the seams line up perfectly. And there you have it. A very simple Japanese style or Asian style roof. Here's a pro tip. When you're building an Asian style roof, I suggest that you look up traditional Japanese house photos when building in this style. Real world references will definitely help take your builds from being good to being absolutely stunning. And speaking of stunning, are you ready for the most challenging roof style? This one separates beginners from advanced builders. Now, if you're from the UK, you know Victorian houses. They're dramatic, intimidating, and honestly, most builders avoid them because they seem impossible to roof. But here's the secret. Contrary to popular belief, not every Victorian house has a tower, and not everyone has that iconic flat roof. But I'm gonna cover both today so that you can master even more techniques. Tower placement doesn't matter much in a Victorian house, but quick research shows that most Victorian houses have towers in front or alongside corners. Let's say you have a house that looks a little bit like this. You'll want to put your towers either here, right in front of the house, or here on the corners. So here's the key. Roof shape matches tower shape. Square tower, hipped roof. A round tower, you'll want a round roof. For the 6-sided tower, you would want the hexagonal roof. If you have an octagonal tower, you want the octagonal roof. Make the roof the same as the tower shape, as much as you possibly can. But no matter which roof you choose, do this. Pull up the roof so that they are tall and pointy. So here's a pro tip. If you inset your tower into the main build by at least one tile so that they overlap naturally, it makes the towers look like they're actually part of the build instead of separate from. So here's what makes Victorian houses so stunning. They used multiple roof types in one build. The main roof is usually a hipped roof. Then lots of half-hipped, gabled, and half-gabled roofs branching off of that. Something kind of like this, where we have maybe a gabled roof here, like so. And then coming off of that, here you'll have your half-tiff roof going along like so, and then maybe more of an octagonal roof coming out from the tower here. A little bit of half-gabled roof action here, just to blend in a little bit better with the whole roofing situation. Again, pulling back from some of the things that you've learned previously to copy roof pieces, and so that you don't have as much of an overhang. So if I take this top bit here and cover it with a high flat platform. Now to do this is going to require a little bit of finessing. I'm going to move this roof temporarily down here. Then what we want to do is create a platform. Spans the width of the roof all the way around like so. And I'm going to go ahead and do it like that. And then we're going to raise the platform as high as it'll go. Grab the roof, put it back up. Then lower it down so that it's hidden from view. Draw some iron or wooden fencing around it. You want the low style fencing. There is actually this custom tileables that you can use that is a roof covering. If you very carefully alt place it, you can use this going around this platform. This will give you that look that we're looking for. You do have to be very careful when using this stuff though, because it doesn't always match up. Get it to be as perfect as you can. If you find this too finicky, or as you can see here, it's not gonna match up, then use some actual fencing and go with something like your curved iron fence, and this is base game, so you can use this and put it all the way across. It makes it doing it this way is a lot easier than using the roof decorations, and it still gives you that look. And then to finish this off, you can either use your platform trims or your half wall trick with wallpaper. Of course, if you use the half wall trick, you won't be able to use the fencing, which is a little bit annoying, but there you go. Mix and match, do whatever you can to try to get the look that you want. Then add a large chimney, just for visual interest. Kind of like so. Now here is why Victorian roofs were so extravagant. Architects wanted people to look up. They decorated everything with bright colors, ornaments, and stained glass. Multiple balconies were typical, even from attic rooms. So what we're gonna do is we're going to make a few attic rooms. So half-tiff roof on each end, drag it out until it meets up with the corner of the platform, using a full hipped roof to tidy up the corners, moving everything until it all matches up very nicely. And that will do. Now you will notice, of course, that the fencing has deleted itself. Sometimes the game will let you replace them, and other times, as you can see here, it is not letting me replace these fences. And that is because the roof needs to be messed around with just a little bit. So you'll see that it's because the roof is, this flat roof here is matching with the side of the platform, and for some reason, the game doesn't like it that way. I have no idea why, but you know, it's fine. Again, sometimes in The Sims, you just have to mess around with things until you can get it to work. And in this instance, using a half-gabled roof instead of a half-hipped roof seems to be what we need for this trick, as you can see there. Now that we've got this roof fixed, we're going to make 2 small rooms. I'm going to make one room here in the back, extending from the attic, and then another room off to the side here. And we actually want these to end a little bit from the edge of the roof. Kind of like this. This room is not going to be functional. It's just going to be purely decorative. Each bump out here needs a small balcony here in this space. If we take this roof, we're going to have to mess around with the roof a little bit more. And here, if I take a half-hift roof piece, and what I want to do is basically use this roof piece, make it blend in as much as possible with the other roof pieces here. Then take another half-hipped roof piece and do the same on the other side. Now this isn't perfect, but I think it's giving you at least the idea of what I'm trying to go for. I think that actually there is going to look a little bit better. Yes, there we go. If we surround the dormer like this, pull them up at steep angles so that it meets the platform top. Again, we're gonna have to use a flat square platform here, just so we can place the roof just the way we want it. Again, we want to make sure that it's all pulled up so that it matches as closely as we can get it. It's not going to be perfect, but again, it's about as close as we can get. We have a little bit of an enclosed balcony on this side, and over here on this side, we can do something similar. So if I move the roof once again, and we take a square platform, flat square, and I again pull it out, we can once again move this roof piece back up again so that it, as closely as possible, matches up here onto the side of the dormer. Copy it on the other side, and then here I can take a fence, and we can do a little bit of a fenced-in balcony, and we can just draw in the fencing here, just like that. And here we have two different types of balconies for your build. And then to roof this, it's very, very simple. Just grab your hipped roof, a little bit of a half-hipped roof here, and pull them together so that you have your full roof piece here. Pull down the eaves to make it look a little bit more interesting. There we go. To finish up, add decorations to each roof ridge. And we do have loads of decorations to choose from. I would honestly recommend this Victorian arrow roof crest. So add it to every single ridge that we've got, which for this roof is just the very top where we put these dormer balconies and the roof going across the porch. Then finish the rest of the house with your spandrels, your columns, fencing, and so on. There you have it, my friends. You've got yourself a really nice looking Victorian style house. And I know that was super complicated. Let's take a breather with something beautifully simple. A-framed roofs look impressive, but are surprisingly easy. The easiest A-frame house is simply a gabled roof, but it doesn't work very well for actual game play. So as you can see here, the roof completely gets in the way. You cannot see what you're doing here at all. So instead of doing this, what you want to do, build a house like this, whatever wall height that you wish, then take your gabled roof and place it on top, making sure to cover the entire build. Then take a half gabled roof, place it on the ground, and put it together to match the side. Pull it all the way back and move it so that it matches up with the main roof. Again, you might need to mess around a little bit with the curvature of the roofs to get them to match up perfectly. But to be honest, it's pretty close, and I would say that is good enough. So copy it on the other side, and there you have your A-frame. Now, this is a very wide-looking A-frame. If you want a taller A-frame, then by all means, pull up the main roof here to give you that more A-frame style, like so. And with half walls down, you can now see the entire build. Now, do you want to get fancy? Grab an arch, like this really nice silver one from the Enchanted by Nature pack, and put the arches facing into your side roofs like this. And this will give your Sims access to these roofing areas. It's not the most playable, but if you put things in here and move your camera around, you can click those things and your Sims will be able to interact with them. Do you want to make this even more amazing? Here's a trick most builders don't know. You can create a window in the side roof by pulling the roof to the back, copying it, placing it in the front here, then taking another half gable roof, putting it in the middle, stretching it across, and then turning this into a glass roof, and you have a side conservatory. Now you can leave this as is, or you can add trim along the bottom with another half gabled roof, make it 1 tile wide, stretch it across the bottom, line it up so that it matches up with the roof, and then drop the eave on the top, and that gives you a little bit of a more natural look. And then if you want to make it look better from the inside, just move things around. There you have it. This gives you a more natural look and more natural lighting, and it looks pretty gosh darn good in my opinion. Again, you may need to fiddle around with the roof pieces just to get them to look the way that you want them to and to match up perfectly with the main build. But there you go. Remember at the start when I promised to show you functional dormers. Your patience is about to be rewarded. Now this technique works for windows, balconies, and functional upper roof dormers. So I've removed the roof, created a second floor, and I'm actually going to pull this in by 1 on either side. I am going to roof this again as an A-frame using half gabled roofs. Pulling all the way across and basically pulling everything up so that it looks, again, as close as I can get it to an A-frame house. There we go. Now on this side, I'm going to do the same thing that we did on the ground floor. I'm going to pull this roof piece in, copy it, place it here on the front. Once again, we've got this middle space here. We've got this little balcony that is completely tucked into the roof. Now you can make this as short or as long as you want. You can even extend the floor out as I showed with the Victorian house with a flat platform piece like so to create a balcony that sticks out a little bit. And if you want to know how to fix this, it is very simple. You just, once again, take the roof, pull it all the way off to the side. On the bottom. This is a dirty version, but again, if you get everything looking just right, it's quite easy to fettle. And then, of course, you can decorate that up with fencing as you wish. Add in a fancy double door. Even add another roof piece up to the top if you want. Remember, you can do this by clicking on the platform and building a ceiling, and then grabbing like a half gabled roof and pulling along there. Now it is a roofed in dormer balcony. Our final simple style that looks way harder than it is. The Dutch gable roof needs two pieces. We need the hipped roof and a gabled roof. Take the hipped roof and stretch it across your roof like so. Then take your gabled roof and stick it in the middle on top of your hipped roof so that it pokes out of the hipped roof. Just like this. And that's it. Of course, you might want to mess around with the eaves and the curvature or slope of either roof to get the seams here matching as perfectly as you can. But yeah, that is your Dutch gable roof. Before you go, I want to give special thanks to my paid members for that extra channel support. Do you want to join them on this wall of fame? Click Become a Member in the description. If there are any roofing styles that I didn't cover that you'd like to see, or if you'd like me to do a more in-depth tutorial of any of these roof styles, then please drop me a comment down below and I will see what I can do to help you master these roof techniques. Just remember, practice makes perfect. Once you've done that, click here for help customizing your builds with ceilings, roof trims, and more advanced techniques.